Imagine, if you will, a small town of 10,000. There are farmers, fishermen, construction workers, and so on. They even have Paul, the owner of the one and only Black Rooster pub. The individuals here trade based on bartering, and that requires the double coincidence of wants. Specifically, that requires two of them to want things such that they can both trade with each other. And that, sometimes, can get pretty hard. The fishermen, for example, must sell their goods in a timely fashion, whereas the lumberjack can hold on to his commodity for a lot longer. To resolve this issue, they decide to create an abstract unit of economic energy. They call it money. The money takes the form of shiny seashells that must be painstakingly found and polished. The seashells are hard to come by, so new ones cannot be easily created without extensive effort. There are only 10,000 shells in the entire economy at the start. Quickly, the shells find an agreed upon price within the economy. Each shell is worth around 1 pound of bread, and so 3 shells is worth around 1 fish, and so on. Something's worth less than 1 shell, and the townspeople work around those limitations as needed, although they agree it would be better if they had a smaller denomination of money. The shells and the economic productivity of the town reach an equilibrium. If the town is too productive, the shells will have to be increased to retain that equilibrium. Conversely, if too many shells are found and added to the economy, then productivity will have to increase to retain that equilibrium. As the population begins to grow, the economy, too, grows. They do more foreign trade and produce more goods. Being hard to find, not enough shells can be added to the system. Thus, a growing collection of goods and services is chasing after a static or relatively static number of shells. The shells begin to become more rare than initially intended. The prices of things goes down relative to the shells, which are becoming more and more sought after. This is called deflation. The problem is that people are no longer willing to let go of their shells and to use it as money, as the price keeps going up. As a result, there is stagnation. Less money is moving back and forth throughout the system. Compounding the problem is that the lowest wage workers still demand 1 shell a day, but as the shells grow in value, the same job for the same pay is earning more purchasing power, and business owners are starting to have a hard time meeting wage demands. The inflexibility of the system has now shown itself, and to make matters worse, the shells incur damage over time as they're traded, and so some of them naturally get removed from the system. The town creates a task force of individuals that will hunt for more shells using the latest technology at their disposal. Now, as time goes on, the population gets better and better at finding shells. However, another problem arises. Foreign traders are exchanging seashells with them in abundance. Apparently, the foreigners might have found a quicker way of acquiring the shells. It begins to undermine their money. The money supply inflates, and this time, money is cheap and goods become more expensive. A pound of bread now costs 3 shells. A fish, now 9. Business owners are doing well, but unless wages keep up, the workers will have a hard time getting by. Having experienced the limitation of shells as money, the town agrees to move on to another standard, this time gold. The coins are not tarnished easily, and are easier to store and travel with. Gold is also easily divisible, so various denominations of coinage are made. What is more, the gold is difficult to mine, and even foreigners with their advanced technologies are seemingly unable to inflate the money supply at a notable rate. The gold coins work wonderfully at first. The town continues to grow until its farthest borders are fully populated. Disputes with the neighboring town grow until they reach a fever pitch. Eventually, a war breaks out. The oligarchs of the town conceive of a plan. The mayor will have the state mint diminish the amount of gold in each coin to 90%, replacing the remaining 10% with copper. The townspeople will have a hard time realizing this. This will give the town extra energy to fight and win the war. The oligarchs convince the mayor to implement this plan, and in secret, it is done. At first, the system works without a hitch. However, it becomes all too appealing for the state to deal with war and famine in this fashion. Time and time again, the state finds reason to devalue the currency, inflating the overall supply. The productivity of the economy cannot keep up with the increasing money supply, so the price of assets begin to rise and rise. Citizens begin to lose trust in their money. Further, each time the money has been printed, it is not distributed equally throughout the society. Different branches of government and various industries tend to get the money first. In effect, they're able to trade new, diluted dollars throughout the economy as if those dollars were the same value as the traditional, non-diluted dollars. Over time, the economy would adjust for this, and each dollar's value would go down. But at the start, the economy cannot be aware of the devalued dollars, and those the new dollars benefit. The phenomenon, where those closest to the source of new money disproportionately benefit from that new money, is called the Cantillon effect. 200 years pass and the money has been devalued beyond recognition. The citizens begin to revolt. The state responds with a new idea: get off the gold standard. Instead of the excessive effort of mining gold and minting new coins, the state will issue paper money, backed by the state. It will be the only legal tender. The state will no longer have to devalue gold coins. They can simply print more money, in the form of paper, as needed. While the state could run out of gold, it can never run out of money that it itself prints. Without the constraints of commodity money, the state begins issuing new money to businesses and homeowners as debt. That is, the money given to these individuals isn't old money. It's simply new money created right there on the spot. The money is simply an issuance of debt. Instead of the money representing current economic activity, this debt money represents hypothetical economic energy that will be added to the system when the debt is repaid. Further, for taking on risk, the issuer of the new money is able to charge interest. The state has implemented a fiat standard. Whereas the previous monies that the town used were effortful to acquire, this paper money is not. Instead of the town's money representing past effort used to acquire it, such as finding the seashells or mining gold, the effort backing this paper money is the future effort that will be used in repaying it. What is more, the time preference of the money has shifted. On the gold standard, individuals were incentivized to save their hard-to-find gold coins in order to avoid borrowing up front and paying interest. Now, however, because the paper money is so cheap to come by and inflation is guaranteed, citizens are incentivized to go into debt immediately. This is because they get to leverage today's money to buy assets from today. And tomorrow, due to inflation, the money they used to pay back the loan will be worth less, while the assets they purchased will be worth more. The state initially works hard to maintain trust of its dollar. Economists argue that the flexibility of the fiat money will allow the economy to grow faster and recover from shocks more easily. However, cracks begin to appear when the state uses its newfound power irresponsibly. Faced with economic downturns and political pressures, the state starts printing more and more money than the economy can sustain. This oversupply of money leads to inflation, as each unit of currency buys less and less. At first, inflation is modest and manageable, but as the state grows accustomed to easy solutions, the discipline wanes. Worse still, the benefits of this new money are not equally distributed. As we discussed with the Cantillon effect, in the gold era, those closest to the new source of money, the banks, large businesses, and government officials, are the first to benefit. By the time this money filters through the economy, its value has already diminished. The townspeople begin to feel that the system is rigged against them. As the state continues printing money to fund wars, public projects, and political promises, inflation begins spiraling out of control. Prices rise so quickly that the townspeople find their wages are unable to keep up. A loaf of bread that once cost 5 notes now costs 50 notes, then, eventually, 500. This phenomenon, known as hyperinflation, devastates the economy. Examples from neighboring towns and faraway lands provide a cautionary tale. In one such town, excessive money printing during a time of war led to the collapse of the entire economy. People began using wheelbarrows to carry around enough notes to buy a single meal. The money itself became worthless, and the town had to revert to bartering and foreign currencies. That's all for my story, and if you enjoyed it, let me know. Leave me a comment down below, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, and see you soon. Bye.